Hi, everyone. My name is Kelsey Kuntz, and I'm the Financial Education Specialist.
My name is Nicole Andrade, and I am the Financial Education Graduate Assistant.
And we are from NYU's Financial Education Department. And today we're going to be talking about friends, family, and finances. Now, our friends and families are some of the most influential people in our lives, and they can have a big weight to how we make our financial decisions. Sometimes great, sometimes not so great. So we're going to talk about all of that and how to help you manage and support those. Our mission is to instill quality financial education to empower prospective and current students to make responsible decisions that contribute to their overall success. You know, attending school is not just about studying for exams and getting your degree. We are very intentional about helping build you into a whole, well-rounded person so you can leave here and make decisions for your life. So our purpose. So thinking about your finances can feel overwhelming, especially while you are a busy student. NYU Financial Education is committed to partnering with current NYU students to provide the tools and support to help you navigate financial choices and make informed financial decisions. Life does not just pause just because you're a student, although we wish it would. Lots of things still take place, and it can feel very demanding sometimes and very overwhelming. So we are really here to help support you through those challenging conversations and those difficult times of planning where things just kind of feel all over the place and you just need a resource to help you maneuver through those choices. So what we do a lot of things. We do workshops and presentations about banking, credit, loan repayment, any type of finance related parts of life. We do one-on-one coaching in case you ever want to come in or do a Zoom meeting with us and have a more detailed look at your situation that speak with us about. And then there's iGrad. iGrad is one of my favorite tools. It's a scholarship search, budget sheets, money quizzes, courses, student loans. It's really like a huge support system for all your financial questions and needs. Why we do what we do. So for me, which is one of my favorite things to do, we really want to help you create healthy relationship with finances that can be spread with your family and your friends. There are a lot of things that you will not see while you're here in higher ed that you will see once you graduate, and we want to prepare you for that. There are going to be tools you need now to help you make those decisions for when you leave here. And we want you to feel confident when you're making these decisions. You know, we want to help you feel like I have resources, I have tools, I have everything I need within me and around me to make informed decisions for myself. So before we start to get into it, we're going to talk about financial sentiment. And what that is your feelings and attitudes towards money and how you feel when you're making those decisions. You know, you think about some of the messaging you get around money, how you view money, what you think about money for your future self. And there's a lot of things that contribute to that. One, your financial situation. So take a minute, think about your current financial standing. Do you feel like you're in a sound position? Do you feel like you take care of your bills? You're able to do the fun things that you want to do without it causing a financial hit? Are you struggling in a certain way? Do you feel like you could use a better budget? Take a moment and think about what that means for you. Now, your family, your friends, and your support network, those are huge contributors. You know, our parents and guardians are some of the first people that give us the messaging about money, how to pay bills, where to spend money, where to not spend money. And our friends are also people we spend most of our money with for some people. So these are all going to come into play with how you feel about spending when you go out, spending for events, helping family with any type of things that's going on. And then also your community, education, and religion. You know, do you have financial institutions in your neighborhood that do any type of counseling or community work around money and finances and how to handle that? Do your schools, certain education institutions that help you do that, and down to your religion. These all contribute to how you view money, how you feel about making financial decisions, and how you move forward and get to your overall success. So credit scores. Credit scores is a huge thing for managing your finances. So that's pretty much an indicator to where you're standing to see how risky it is to make an investment on it. So if you do have a credit card, you want to be able to say, hey, okay, if I make this purchase right now, how long is it going to take me to realistically pay it off? Is it going to bring more harm than good? If I make this big purchase on a credit card, do I have a plan for it? How has my financial history been in the past to make me feel like, should I be contributing or not to this purchase credit card? And it fluctuates all the time. You know, if you make a late payment, if you are utilizing more than a certain amount of your credit card, if you keep hitting your max, all of those things are going to affect your credit score. So you want to be mindful of that when you start to make purchases with your credit card. Now, when you're doing any type of shopping or purchasing, you have a few options, which is either debit cards or credit cards. Now, debit cards are money that's coming from your account. So it's already there. So it's not like you are borrowing it. There's no interest on it. It's an alternative. Like if you had all of your cash on a plastic little card, that's what that's going to use. There's no interest on that. Now, credit cards are a bit different. Yes, it is a plastic card that you can use to make purchases. But what it does as well is has interest, due dates, and if you're not careful with it, it can negatively affect your credit score. So when you're doing these kind of pros and cons, make sure you know that both are going to have different outcomes depending on what your financial goals are. Inflation. So I'm sure you have all felt the weight of things being way more expensive than they have previously. And inflation just means the increase of price of goods over a period of time. We've seen it at a record high last year. And these kind of things can definitely affect how you make your long-term and short-term financial goals. What you had planned for last year might be a little bit different this year. You might have to increase it just because of how things are differently priced. So all that's going to come into play too when you're going out to eat, when you're going to birthday events, any kind of large celebrations, this is going to take into effect, especially when it comes to traveling. So this is one of my traps that I kind of fall victim into in my previous years is DIY. You ever been around and you're just like, you know what, that's expensive. I could just do it myself. And while that's great, I always support creativity and doing projects if that's something that you love to do, but you want to be mindful when you do have a financial plan that you're trying to stick to. Valentine's Day is coming up, and that's a big time where a lot of purchasing can take place. You want to buy a gift for your loved one, wherever that may be, and whether you want to go big or small, up to you. But be mindful of the DIY projects because sometimes DIY projects comes with a lot of little pieces. So by the time you're buying this machine, that part, you can almost spend more than what you would have on a gift that you would buy from the store. So you really want to sit and ask yourself, do I really need to buy all these pieces? Is this something that I'm going to do often? If you're going to make this project over and over again, assess your financial plan, see how that's going to work for you. It may be worth it to do it, but just be mindful in cases where it may not be. So spending on loved ones. This is a great tool. You know, we are in an age of technology. I am one of those, I love to do pen and paper, but having it written down to see, or, you know, you use voice notes or any type of device to help you remember certain dates, months. This is crucial to helping you see your outline. You know, a lot of times we keep things in our head and we just make mental notes and then you have 1,000 mental notes and you're just like, I don't even remember what I said 2 seconds ago. So this is one of those things that can help you with that. So you have it by the month, who is going to be pertaining to, and this is also going to keep in mind how much you want to spend throughout that time because you'll say, oh, I know in a few months I'm going to have my parents to buy this for. In a few months I'm going to have my sister to buy this for. And having that written down soundly will really help you stay on top of your task and being what you can spend and what you can't spend.
And also to add to that, especially your monthly budgeting, some months for your own personal financial situation may be a little bit more demanding on the financial side, as well as for your loved ones. You might have more birthdays to celebrate, in the month of February, and that's when some sort of personal financial demand increases for you. So it's great to make sure that you have something visually so that you can see when you need to plan accordingly to make sure that you can cover the months that might demand a little bit more finances, if that's how you plan to spend.
Exactly. So next we're going to get into COVID and your financial sentiment. I don't think there's anybody here that has not heard the word COVID. And it really does come into play with how you make decisions about how you feel about your finances. There are lots of people who have taken an income hit, job loss, job gains as well too. And it can all make or break your financial plan. So you want to ask yourself a few questions. How will your financial plan be impacted? Is it feasible? And is it safe? You know, especially with travel restrictions. If you're a person who loves traveling and you're trying to just get to wherever you got to go, you know, be aware that those fees may be a little bit high, and you're also might be upping your health risk a little bit. So just be mindful of those things. If you're feeling uncomfortable and you really feel your financial sentiment changing as we go along with time, think about some of the things you can do to stay a little bit safer and also stay on top of your financial goals. Hosting a virtual party, letter writing. You know, it's something we text and we do all the time, but writing can be very therapeutic and it can give a different type of personal touch. Watch movies virtually. You can call, you can use social media, you can send care packages. There's lots of ways where you can make really cool bundles to send those you care about while you're maintaining your financial budget and also taking care of your health. So we're going to do a few scenarios now of what would you do. So take a few moments and think about it as we go through each one. Nicole and I will be giving our feedback to how we would handle these situations. So scenario number one, it's the 29th of the month and your friend calls you. You know, the one she has trouble holding down a job, but has a heart of gold. With all of her courage, she asks you for money to pay rent. You want to help your friend and you have the money, but you don't want things to be weird. You also don't want to be a bank. Your job is to be her friend, not act like a lender, right? Now, this is a little bit tricky because like we stated before, your friends and family are sometimes the most important people that you feel that you are obligated to do whatever they need at that given moment. For me, I personally would not feel comfortable lending out rent money for a few reasons. One is probably a larger amount. And then two, because of the severity of the weight that rent holds, that's a very crucial monthly bill. It comes around all the time. And my concern is, all right, well, what's happening next month? What's going to happen next month? And what's going to be next month? If I start doing it now, will it turn into something that becomes a habit? And if this is me in a case where she's always had trouble holding down a job and being financially sound, I know that's going to be a bigger risk for me in the long run. But one of the rules I kind of stick to for myself is not to lend out any money I know I may not get back.
I agree very much with all that you said, Kelsey, and especially in case you do feel like you can at least be a little more willing to lend that money to your friend, as difficult as it can be given their situation, but also how you've noticed that they can be as a person could help you maybe see them as a little bit more reliable. It's good to make sure to at least plan out a repayment plan together, just to make sure that there is a concrete schedule or just something laid out that you can both follow and hold both people accountable to. Just to also make sure that some sort of boundary is still set so that finances don't get too in the way of the friendship.
I agree completely. So scenario number two, a sibling asks you to co-sign for their student loan for their second semester of college. This may not seem like such a big deal to you, but before you sign on the dotted line, it's important to recognize that as the co-signer, you are legally responsible for the loan. If your sibling is delinquent on payments, your credit score may suffer. So for me, I am willing to take a deeper look at the situation depending on the loan amount. So there's a few things I would consider here. If my sibling is unable to pay it off, am I in a financial position to pay it off as well as support to their investment? Two, the type of lender. Lenders can have a bunch of different terms and conditions that you may not be agreeing with. So you want to make sure you're comfortable with the lender, the amount, and if your sibling is not able to make the payments necessary, are you going to be in a situation to pay that off as of right now? If I was in that situation and I was comfortable doing so, I would. But if I was not in a financial situation where I could not take that risk and have my credit score hit, I would not do it. If I saw my sibling in a situation where they were about to make the first payment, I'll step in and make that payment because I know that's going to be a hit for both of us.
It's especially also good to make sure that you understand that your sibling, what their financial sentiment is, just to see how their perspective with finances can be in the case that you do agree to helping your sibling with this scenario, making sure that they understand how much respect needs to be put into this agreement between you and them, and especially the responsibility that they're going to be expected to hold, and the responsibility that they're putting you into as well. So it's definitely good to make sure that your sibling understands, how this can affect not just them, but especially your own personal financial situation.
Absolutely. All right, so we're going to get to our last scenario number 3. You get invited to a socially distanced birthday dinner, post-COVID-19 for your BFF. To keep it frugal, you stick to an appetizer and one drink. When the bill comes, the group somehow decides that it's easier to split everything. Now, this is very, very, very tricky because sometimes when you're out eating and drinking with your friends, you just think, oh, I'm here to have fun. And sometimes it's that unconscious thing where everybody thinks they're able to afford what everybody else is doing. And that may not be the case. And this is a time where it can be very difficult to do so. It can make you nervous. It can make you fearful in a sense. But you have to find a space to be very honest with your friends about what you're able to contribute. If you are not able to split it evenly between the whole group, you have to say that. As tricky as it may be, and then you also have to have that kind of heart-to-heart with your friends to say, hey, I don't mean to bring harm or anything, but I am not able to do this. This is what I am able to do. And then you can go from there. And then that's also a great time to have a conversation about how you want to do outings in the future. If you're going to set an event and you want to go out with a group of people, maybe it would be helpful for you to talk with your friends and be like, hey, this is the kind of budget I'm on. This is what I'm able to do. This is what I'm not able to do. That may mean you get your own separate check when the bill comes. Or that may be, sometimes you don't get the appetizer and drink. Whatever that may look like, having that conversation for the upcoming times will help a ton.
Definitely, transparency in these types of situations are very important, just to make sure that your friends can respect your own financial situation and respect that everyone invited at the event may not be under the same circumstances, just to give them that helpful reminder. But especially in the moment when you're already sitting there, the bill is coming because everyone decided that it is easier to split evenly. It's good to, as scary as it could be, let your friends know, I only had these 2 things, they added up to this amount. And I noticed that you all had this and this and this, it added to this amount. Helping to show the numbers can also be very useful, just to provide more, evidence in a way to show, it's a little disproportionate and it's a little unfair. So if you wouldn't mind, letting me have cover my part, considering how the rest of the table paid and how much they got during the dinner, can definitely help with transparency and giving them more understanding about why you see that this is incorrect.
Absolutely. And like she said, it can feel a little bit scary. You kind of don't want to disappoint your friends, but understand that this is about you too. And you don't have to take that hit to be impressive. So wonderful worlds of iGrad to help you make some of those tougher decisions and those financial plans. So you can do scholarship search, you can look at student loan snapshot. It can really help you create plans of your budget for whatever financial goal, whether it's short term or long term. It can help you keep your finances in order. And it can also comes with a cool calculator to help you plan for how to save. So if you're trying to do an emergency savings or if you're saving for a computer, whatever they might be, iGrad is a great resource to help you with your day-to-day of managing finances.
And especially when it comes to even the scenarios that we just discussed right now, a lot of these tools can be very useful in those situations, such as with student loan snapshots with the siblings scenario. It's always great to make sure that they can also have a look at these types of tools so that they understand repayment options and stuff, and especially making that plan with you. Also budgeting sheets when it comes to helping your friend pay off their monthly rent for that one time. It helps
Mhm.
to put into perspective all the payments that you have to personally do. And then if you can even manage to provide all or some of the money that they're asking you. So these can all not only just be great for you, but also for your friends and family who may need that better understanding that you also now have access to as an NYU student. And luckily, sharing this information can be very helpful to making conversations about finance a lot more easier.
Absolutely. And a lot of times too, you might feel obligated that because it is your family and friends that you have to say yes. And your relationship with your family and your friends is completely up to you. But these are definitely great tools to help you have that harder conversation where you may not feel like saying yes. So creating action plans. So anytime you have any type of financial goal or any goal, you need a plan for it. Keeping things in your head is not as great as we may think at the time, but writing it down and having a way to see, all right, what did I do this month? What steps am I going to do this month to get to this goal? Seeing it written out is one of my favorite things. So seeing what you want to do each day, each week, each month, whatever that may be, will help you create the daily habits to go with that. If you know you want to save a certain amount of money, which means you're not going to go out and buy takeout this week, that's completely fine. If you see it written out, it'll help you stay on task too. You got food at home, go cook, do whatever you need to do, or heat up something in a microwave. And you just know that for this week, that's what I'm doing because this is the goal. So writing out your action plans is going to be crucial to helping you get to your financial goals. And it's a thing to help with having those conversations with your friends and families too. You can say, hey, this is what I have written out for the month. This is what I'm able to do. This is what I'm not able to do. And when people are aware that you're trying to focus on something, they'll be more inclined to listen. So for those deeper conversations, you can meet with us. So you can go take a look at our website, you can email us, and we are available to meet you for Zoom or in person if you would like to have a deeper conversation about managing your finances, budgeting, how to have those conversations and help you along the way to even navigating iGrad if necessary. So what's next? By understanding your reasoning and sentiment around money in relation to why and how you are spending it on your family and friends can impact your future financial goals. Once you take stock of your financial responsibilities to yourself, to your future self, and to your family, you will be able to make better decisions surrounding your money. And we know, we don't always have all the answers about everything. And sometimes when you're new to having these conversations and making these kind of plans, it can feel a little bit overwhelming. It can feel a little heavy, but that's why we're here. We're here to help you get used to a new program for yourself that helps you now and in the future, and for something that can be used for your family and your friends.
And it's definitely good just to point out that you should make sure to continue updating yourself about your own personal financial sentiment. As life goes on, the more you go into your student years and your professional years, new things come and go in your own financial situation, or things can change, or even factors that affect your financial sentiment can change. So it's always good to make sure to check in with yourself once in a while to make sure that you're also holding yourself accountable to that sentiment, or if things need to be changed.
Absolutely. This is not a you do it one time and then it's done. Things can change all the time. And you might feel different one week from the next week or the next month. Life things happen. So it's okay to give yourself that check-in as well. So here are some other ways to connect with us. If you are on social media, we have an Instagram, our Twitter, and our Facebook, and we'll be happy to help you there. We also do some great posts about financial wellness and things and events that we have coming up. So be sure to follow and check it. And you can also contact us at our website, email, and phone. So thank you for attending this with us. It was a great time. We hope you learned a lot. And if you have any additional questions or want to continue the conversation, please feel free to contact us. Thank you.
Thank you.